I'm walking to the store to get more chicken, which is honestly something I feel like I should hypothetically be tired of. I wonder if that's an evolution thing because we all eat so many of the same meats over and over again without necessarily getting tired. Guys, I made chicken fricassee, and if you haven't had it before, you're really missing out. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I made it. To the kitchen! More like chicken fricassee. Now on our table, I have every single thing we're going to be working with, most importantly the chicken, because this is chicken fricassee. You're going to want to make sure you don't use any dark meat for this, because it's going to be drying like a hockey puck if you go through it using chicken breast, and everyone's going to shame you, and I will personally come find you myself and shame you. And the wine is also our other most important thing. You want a dry white wine, but more on that later. And this is all done in one single pot, which is another reason why I just love doing this so much, but I keep a pot to the side of just cool water just for the potatoes though. We're just going to slice these up like normal. These are going to be the exact same potatoes from the last video. Mashed, because I want mashed potatoes even though you normally eat this with rice. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Amare, and this is just how I like to cook, and I really do love showing other people, so if you need some ideas or you just like watching other people cook, like if that's what you're into, just go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm here at least twice a week. Now for these mushrooms, I'm going to use cremini instead of porcini mushrooms because porcini mushrooms are so hard to find, oh my god. When it comes to cleaning them though, I'm a little bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes I wash them even though I know you're not supposed to. Other times I wipe them, but I really made sure I wiped these ones today because Barefoot Contessa wipes her mushrooms and I trust her. And to be honest, these ones just didn't have that much dirt on them. Now I have some extra garlic I need to get rid of, so I'm going to go in with about 3 cloves of garlic. You can use a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic for each clove. And now I'm going to go ahead and chop up this shallot to go into. If you don't have a shallot, you can totally just use an onion. I just keep shallots on hand in case I ever don't really need or feel like cutting up an entire onion. I'll just use a shallot instead, because any recipe in which you can use an onion, you can use a shallot. You just gotta swap them. I have a pack of thighs and drumsticks, and I really hope whoever wrapped this got a huge check because they wrapped the heck out of this. I'm gonna put the other half of this chicken in the freezer though for the rest of the week, and I'm just gonna make sure I pat these dry with a paper towel like I always say to do, because the drier your skin is, the crispier it will become when it's time to sear it or brown it. And now we're gonna go ahead and just season it really well with salt and pepper. A lot more of the flavor is gonna come from the broth and the wine, and just the sauce in general. And we're gonna just boil these potatoes until they're fork tender and call it a day before we make the mashed potatoes. Now we're gonna go ahead and move over to the chicken while we're waiting for those potatoes to get ready. Melting butter always feels like it takes 40 days and 40 nights, so you kind of just have to be patient. We're gonna make sure we stick these in here skin side down, or at least try to. It took me a little minute to get mine flipped over. Just ignore me. Don't be like me. Just do better than me. You should all be better. Learn from my mistakes. And after 5 minutes on each side, we're gonna go ahead and turn them over. This is where I kind of started to freak out for the first time. I really thought I was cooking these too much and too fast, but the heat was just on medium and everything was good. Normally when you make this, you do want your chicken to stay kind of pale and not totally brown, because you want it to be off-white and creamy, not brown and weird looking. Now off to the side, I just have all my herbs and stuff I chopped up a little bit earlier in my fresh thyme. Now that it's been 5 minutes on each side, we're gonna go ahead and sit these on a plate and just sit them to the side until later. We're gonna put them back in and let them cook some more, but I'm just gonna sit these somewhere warm until I'm ready for them. And now I'm gonna show you guys one of my favorite cooking magic tricks ever, called throw everything into the melted butter. Now this is where I start to have freak out number 2. Normally there's way more brown bits and stuff in the bottom from the chicken. I don't know if it's the butter I'm using now or what, but that was kind of freaking me out. I thought I was going to taste a little weird, but everything came out fine. So that means one more day I'm allowed to show my face in public. Sometimes while I'm sauteing, I pretend I have kids that are on the way home on the bus and they're going to be really mad at me if the food is not ready when they get here. But we're just going to saute until the onions get translucent. Or in my case, shallot. Or you can just skip the onion altogether. So now we're going to go ahead and put our garlic in. I just like to throw it all over to one side so I can make sure it's not browning too fast. And eventually I do just go ahead and mix it in with everything, but I stop as soon as I can smell the garlic. Alright, now it's time for the wine test. I'm satisfied. And now we're gonna go ahead and put in our 2 tablespoons of flour. Now, if you're familiar with gravy or you've just made a roux before, this is almost the exact same process. We're just gonna make it more creamy and less thick and gravy-like. And I realized while I was making this is almost the exact same process as making smothered chicken. Now you're going to want to make sure you cook this for about a minute or two so we can make sure we get all of the raw flour taste out, because sometimes people just skip this step entirely and it tastes like Play-Doh at the end, and I don't like that. But if you like Play-Doh, you know what, you do you. And now we're going to pour in a 1/4 cup of wine and save the rest for ourselves because, you know, party time! And once that wine's been soaked up and absorbed by the flour, we're going to go in with our 2 cups of broth too. I can totally show you guys why I made this if you want. Just let me know in the comments. Pretty much I've just been making it and doing this new thing where I condense it and evaporate most of the water out just to make it like a meat jelly. This can be a really good time to pretend you're in jail. Now we're going to bring our chicken back out and let it finish cooking in the sauce. We're just going to put the lid on this and let it simmer for around 15 minutes. And now I'm just gonna wash dishes, think about life, how nice the weather is, about graduation, what I'm gonna do after graduation, where I'm going, what I'm gonna cook this weekend, what I'm gonna upload next, at what point do I release my tell-all book, and if people understand what I'm saying, because nobody ever leaves any questions in the comments. And when I make my mashed potatoes, I don't really do anything too special. I just mash them up with my whisk after they're fork tender, and then I go in and add some butter and some milk and just whisk everything together with some salt. But now it's time to go back to that chicken and finish things up. We're going to go ahead and add in 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. This is where we get a little bit different than making gravy, because we want this to be creamy and velvety, so we're just going to stir it into the middle. And now we're almost done and we're just going to let it simmer for a little bit. And once it can coat the back of a spoon and it looks a little bit like a cream, we're going to go ahead and just turn the heat off, because that means it's ready. Guys, there's no dessert in this video today, but I had to start recording myself making my thumbnails because I literally keep forgetting and just eating everything instead of taking a picture. And honestly, I think this is some of the best chicken I've ever made. If you want me to make anything in particular for Saturday, just let me know in the comments and I'll go ahead and get on that. Until then, just watch my old videos. See you on Saturday.